Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and today is June 3rd, 2021, the first Thursday of the month. And of course, that means it's time for another issue of the Bungie Weekly blog, This Week at Bungie. This time around, we've got a lot to talk about. We had a hotfix, of course, go live earlier today. It is the one that seems to have put Stasis in the ground, at least in terms of PvP, and maybe a little bit in PvE when it comes to Titan Behemoth changes. Additionally, of course, we've got an Iron Banner coming up next week, and even a fashion show to talk about. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into this week's TWAB. But actually, before we get into any of that, if you happen to miss it, last night, DCP's Firing Range podcast had on some very special guests from Bungie, including Kevin Yanez, who we just heard from in previous TWABs. They came on and talked a bunch about sandbox changes, about the way a lot of perks and abilities work, about how cones and aim assists and accuracy and perks and weapons and all sorts of other things work together to make Destiny 2 play the way that it does. It was a fantastic show, and if you happen to miss out on it, I would definitely recommend that you go and check it out. The Firing Range podcast. I'll have a link to the episode down in the description box below. It was fantastic, and we learned a lot about specific things. To give you an example, did you know the Zen Moment perk doesn't actually increase your stability? This was mind-blowing to me. Instead, what it does is it reduces the overall recoil that a weapon receives in incrementing amounts, so it stacks up recoil reductions rather than giving you base boost to your stability. Now, some of you out there might be like, well, if it reduces recoil, isn't that the same as increasing stability? Turns out it isn't. Instead of increasing the stability stat, Zen Moment just gives you a modifying buff that continually lowers your overall recoil. That was kind of mind-blowing when I heard it on the podcast. There's plenty of other great stuff there, so make sure you go check it out. But alright, let's go ahead and dive on into this week's TWAB. First things first, Iron Banner is returning next week. That's right, Lord Saladin is going to be back in the tower starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, June 8th, and ending the following week on the 15th. And if you played any of the Iron Banner a week or two ago, you'll know we've got two brand new weapons in the loot pool to get your hands on. The Reese Walker shotgun and the Archon's Thunder machine gun were introduced last time around through a seasonal quest. But if you played, you might have noticed that there was an issue where these new weapons weren't available through alternate means, meaning you couldn't get them through Iron Banner packages. This time around, Bungie has worked that issue out, so the Reese Walker and the Archon's Thunder machine gun should be dropping from Iron Banner packages next week when Lord Saladin returns. Hopefully you held on to your tokens. I know I was trying to get a decent roll of the Archon's Thunder, and it was a real bummer to not be able to get that through packages. So make sure you hop into the banner and get some wins. It's also, of course, going to be a fantastic way to get some easy pinnacle gains in for the week. But alright, moving on from the banner, next up, we've got another Destiny 2 fashion show getting ready to swing into action. And with the addition of the Guardian appearance screen in Season of the Splicer, Bungie has been able to see countless Guardians mixing and matching their armor to build wonderful creations, and they feel it's about time we put our skills to the test with a new fashion show. Think you've got the best looks in the community? Let's see if you can prove it and earn yourself this eye-catching fashion emblem. So, how are we going to enter the contest this time around? Easy. First, dress up. Throw together a mix of awesome armor and sweet shaders to create a set that you believe is going to be a winner. Then you submit a screenshot to Bungie. You can snag a photo of your Guardian in the Guardian appearance screen showing your armor set and shader selections. And this time around, providing an additional picture of your Guardian in the wild is not required, but you may get some bonus points. Submit your photo on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag #SplicerFashionShow to enter. They'll be sharing the winners from June 7th through June 12th from the @DestinyTheGame Twitter account. If you win, one of their community managers will reach out so they can hook you up with that sweet, sweet emblem. And since we now have access to this new Transmog system that's going to be fantastic for putting together your best or worst dressed looks, Bungie's also given us a couple of quick looks at some fun armor combinations direct from some of the developers who worked on the Guardian appearance system. And then we get to see some quick screenshots here of some of the looks that some of the devs behind the Guardian appearance screen came up with. The Destiny 2 fashion shows have always been a lot of fun, and now that we have the Guardian appearance screen, it's going to be so much easier to put together your chosen look to see if you can win that prize. So make sure you get in there and show Bungie your stuff. Now, alright, that's pretty much it for the biggest bits of news in the TWAB itself. But of course, we did have a hotfix go live earlier today. And while a lot of the stuff we talked about last week, it's mainly Stasis changes. If you've played Crucible or played a Stasis class at all after that update went live today, you've likely noticed the major nerfs that Stasis on the whole got. Let me know how you feel about those down in the comment section below. Now that you've had a chance to play it in the Crucible, do you feel like Stasis is a little bit more fair to play against? Can't wait to read that. But there were some other major changes in the hotfix today that I felt it was important to address. Most importantly, we got quite a few bug fixes for the raid experiences in Destiny 2. And of course, when I say raid experiences, I mean the Vault of Glass. Yeah, some cheese got patched this time. Here's what Bungie changed. Vault of Glass armor mods now appear in the Collections tab. They fixed an issue where players could kill Atheon by tethering supplicants as they self-destruct. Saw a couple videos of that. Hilarious, by the way. They fixed an issue where players could kill Atheon in the future Venus portal before starting the encounter. This is the thing where basically if you were coming from the Gatekeeper encounter, you could just have somebody die and then get teleported into the future Venus encounter. And there you would find Atheon's character model just sitting and waiting to be summoned into the main room. Sort of the same way you could find Atrax 1's sort of captain avatar in a different room if you kind of glitched your way outside of that encounter in the Deepstone Crypt. So that got patched out as well. They've also fixed an issue where players could break Minotaur shields in the Gatekeeper encounter by using Prometheus Lens. This was a big one. It makes the Gatekeeper so much easier to deal with since you don't have to use the relic. Normally the relic is required to break those Minotaur shields, but now Prometheus Lens is going to be bodied. They used to just work where you just shoot them a little bit, it would pop their shield, you'd stop shooting and then just do it again and it would break their shield. Interesting that they only mention Prometheus Lens here, because the colony also does the same thing. Granted, you have to get right up on top of the Minotaur and hit him with a colony shot. I wonder if that still works here after the glitch. And if you still really want to cheese those Minotaurs and not have to use the relic, you can always just blind them and then use a sword to push them off of the map. But anyways, Prometheus Lens got a patch there. And finally, they fixed an issue where Aegis Relic blocking ability was not continuously blocking damage. This, I'm so happy to hear about. It was really frustrating, especially during contest mode, to get to the middle island, start your DPS phase, and then just have a bunch of damage bypass the Relic shield and kill you and your entire team. Not so much of an issue now if you drop a well there. But it was really frustrating, and I'm glad that Bungie fixed it. After that, we got some pretty good changes to reward structures as well. Seasonal reward sources, including locked override chests and the weekly vendor challenge, now correctly contain seasonal class armor items and have been updated to reduce the frequency of getting duplicate items in succession. The Iron Banner machine gun and shotgun now drop from the Iron Banner engram. Vault of Glass Director Tooltip will retain its Pinnacle drop notification for classes that have not yet cleared it each week, as drops will still be available, and Vault of Glass secret chests are now properly dropping Titan and Warlock armor, which is fantastic news. The Vault of Glass vendor purchase of the Templar package no longer occasionally grants incorrect weapons or armor. Vault of Glass vendor purchase of the Templar package is no longer locking itself out due to incorrectly detecting if the player has obtained all of its possible results for the current character class. And finally, Vault of Glass vendor purchases of Conflux, Gatekeeper, and Atheon packages now correctly grant armor when such a result is rolled instead of nothing. Really happy to hear about those changes. It was really frustrating to buy those vendor packages there and not get the stuff that you were supposed to get. So really happy Bungie fixed it. But alright Guardians, that's pretty much it for the biggest bits of news contained in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly blog, This Week at Bungie. I hope you Guardians are ready for the Iron Banner and the fashion show that's inbound. I know I'm going to be trying to put together my best looks to see if I can get my hands on that new emblem. But that's it for the news, and those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.